So, a little over a month ago, OPPO launched the new Reno13 series, and in today's video, we have the most affordable option among their lineup, the OPPO Reno13 F 5G. Powering this device is a fairly dated Snapdragon 6 Gen 1, which suggests a dip in performance as compared to the other variants of the 13 series lineup. But then again, there's also the matter of the entire Reno13 series as a whole becoming a lot more expensive over its predecessor. So with that, I'm Jose from Yugatech, and let's see whether or not the Reno13 F has enough redeeming qualities for its new and higher price tag despite the upgrades made by OPPO. So let's get on with this video. To start, our review unit is in luminous blue, which is aptly named given its amazing looking color. I mean, just look at it, at the way the light reflects around it. In terms of the design, the devices in the OPPO Reno13 line all look almost exactly the same. The only thing that separates them from each other is how the LED flash at the rear looks. At first glance, users will notice the hues of lights that surround the edge of the phone's camera enclosure. Similar to other devices in the series, it has a thin frame and a flat design that makes it sleek and appealing in its own way. For buttons and ports, users can find the volume rocker and power button on the right side of the device. At the bottom, there's the dual SIM card slot and of course, the USB Type-C port. At the top, you have the secondary microphone and another loudspeaker. There's also a slit above the display which houses the call earpiece. The OPPO Reno13 F also has an IP69 rating for dust and water resistance. This fully protects it from dust and high pressure water jets. Just note that this is only applicable to fresh water, so users should still be careful when you're exposed to salt water because that will kill your phone. We were quite impressed by how the Reno13 F's design was fleshed out. Compared to the Reno12 F or even the Reno11 F, this device looks and feels a lot more muted, especially in terms of design, but in a good way. Minimalist? I like it. But what do you guys think? Open it up and users will find the phone's 6.67-inch AMOLED screen fitted with Asahi glass protection. It also comes with a 120Hz refresh rate and full HD plus resolution. It's got a classic flat display, but noticeably thicker bezels compared to other devices in the Reno13 series. Using it, the screen, it feels smooth even when you're just scrolling around the menu, and we appreciate how it doesn't struggle even when you're using it under direct sunlight. For audio, the device does come with dual stereo speakers. We've been using it to binge watch YouTube, gaming, and even watching full HD movies on this phone. And while users can max out to 300% volume, we don't really recommend it for general listening. This feature is mainly intended if you're focusing on dialogue or vocals, perfect for like an ebook, but when you're listening to music or even watching movies, you will notice the drop in quality. Overall though, it does produce a full enough soundstage and with notable mids, but based on our opinion, it does lack a lot of bass. Now, for biometrics, it does include an in-display fingerprint sensor and facial recognition, which are the usual modern means of mobile security. Both work well and as intended with no gripes from us. More importantly, it works fast too, and it was very easy to register. Moving on to the cameras, the OPPO Reno13 F is equipped with a triple rear camera system. This consists of a 50-megapixel main with OIS, an 8-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 2-megapixel macro lens. At the front, you do have a 32-megapixel selfie camera for taking selfies. For video recording, the rear camera can shoot up to 4K at 30 FPS, while the front is just limited to just 1080p at 30 FPS max. Now, in terms of the output, the cameras perform quite well, with the main camera retaining a lot of details, especially when you're taking stationary photos. I say this because the stabilization feels like it needs a bit more work. Photos taken when you're not stationary, meaning you are moving, looks alright until you zoom in and you notice that the details aren't as sharp and the subject looks a bit soft. This is a bit more obvious, especially when you're shooting in not so well lit conditions. As for the ultra-wide, it's decent at best. It works as intended to capture wider scenes, although it does struggle to preserve detail with lack of lighting. More importantly, you'll notice the difference in quality when you shoot with the main shooter and the ultra-wide. For selfies, the front cameras work best in well-lit environments like this one. But Overall, from our experience, the camera won't really compete with the best under its price point. As for videos, it poses the same issues when you're taking photos. The footage turns out a lot better when the user isn't on the move, which further shows that the OIS and even EIS evidently isn't exactly the best and needs a little bit of work. Out of the box, the OPPO Reno13 F 5G comes with ColorOS 15, which is based on Android 15. In our opinion, this is a huge advantage for Oppo smartphones because of its personalization and fluidity. It's clean and highly customizable, allowing users to play around with themes, wallpapers, and more. Users can even customize watermarks and text content on the camera app. Plus, the interface shares some resemblance with iOS, making it a lot user-friendly, especially if you're someone who's changing from iOS to this one. Our only gripe with the software is that it does have a lot of bloatware out of the box. Sure, the apps can be uninstalled, but it does take a bit away from the hassle-free experience. At the very least, useful apps like Netflix do come pre-installed since you will probably be using them. For those of you wondering, Oppo hasn't announced anything yet about their timeline for software updates and security patches for this device. Powering the Reno13 F 5G is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 6 Gen 1 chipset. This comes with an Adreno 710 GPU, up to 12GB of RAM, and up to 512GB of UFS 3.1 storage. For reference, our review unit comes with 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Aside from how smooth ColorOS is, the phone performs really well for most everyday tasks. In terms of gaming, the phone can handle resource-intensive titles like Genshin Impact and Asphalt Legends Unite decently. However, you still have to set your expectations, and we recommend that users change the graphics settings to low for a more optimal performance. If you choose to turn the graphics up to medium, you will expect a bit of heat from the back panel, and there's also going to be frame rate drops after roughly around 20 to 25 minutes of gameplay. But numbers and experiences considered, we'll rate this device above average for its consistency and reliability. We'll also leave our synthetic benchmark scores here so you can check them out for those of you who do like seeing the numbers. As an alternative to the main Reno13 devices, the phone does alright. It scored just a bit higher in Antutu than the Honor X9C, which uses the same chipset, but no doubt this phone can handle everyday tasks without any problem whatsoever. The Reno13 F 5G packs a 5800 mAh battery with support for 45 watt of SuperVOOC fast charging via USB-C Type-C. From experience, the phone is insanely good at managing power consumption. Our usual routine with the device comes with web browsing, video streaming, along with a bit of photography and gaming. Even with the handful of tasks that we do on this phone, the phone should still have more than enough power for an entire day. We'll also let the battery tests speak for themselves. So based on PC Mark's Work 3.0 battery test, our review unit lasted a whopping 17 hours and 13 minutes. In our video loop test, it was able to offer 18 hours and 3 minutes of video playback. For connectivity, this phone comes with 5G, dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.1, GPS, and NFC. I should also note that this device does have a 4G variant equipped with a different chipset. And for those of you curious, the phone has standard call quality either over Wi-Fi or a cellular network. Now we get to the price. The OPPO Reno13 F 5G is priced at 22,999 pesos for the 12GB plus 256GB combo, which is this exact model that we have right here. There is also a 12 plus 512GB variant which retails for 25,999 pesos. It's a significant price hike considering that this is supposed to be one of the most affordable options for mid-range smartphones. After all, there are other devices at a similar or even lower price point that offers more than what this offers. Don't get us wrong though. This device is indeed a clear upgrade from its predecessor. However, it's the phone's value for money that we find questionable. Now, we can't deny there are some improvements to the phone, including the display, software, and even the very long battery life. But the camera is still just average, and the chipset, well, that's pretty much dated. But again, all things considered, purchasing the device still falls under user preference. If you really want this phone, who are we to stop you? And more importantly, it is a reliable device. But for us, we just find it a bit pricey. Still, what do you guys think of the OPPO Reno13 F 5G? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, if you found this video informative or even helpful, do drop a like and subscribe to watch more. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok. And of course, visit yugatech.com to stay updated with the latest tech news and reviews. Once again, this has been Saya, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Jane.